Hello, welcome back to the fish locker. I could be anywhere, couldn't I? Pitch black. I'm out in the Florida Keys and I'm shore fishing at night. Now, I come to this marker last night and it was a steep learning curve. I'm hoping to put into action what I've learned from last night. I've modified the rig slightly, beefed some up, changed some hooks. Fingers crossed we can find some fish tonight. I've already got two rods out. I've got a light one here and heavy one. No, there's a bite straight away. Look, you see that? There it is. Yeah, that'll be a little snapper. I'm fishing tonight for mangrove snapper, lane snapper, any type of grouper and tarpon. Now last night I did get absolutely blitzed by a big shark. I've got unfinished business. Let's get that fish sorted out and we'll get some more baits out. Right, got a shark down there. Obviously I've just put the rods out and it's just in the shallows down there. Right, well I pissed myself off. Messing about trying to set this up to be able to show you it and it's just slipped the hook. I'm not happy. But that was about like a 4-foot sandy coloured shark. I don't know what type it was. That's annoying. Yeah, typically it always happens when you're unprepared, isn't it? I was just busy setting everything up. One of the things that I learnt last night is that I needed to be prepared. So I've cut a load of bait. I've cut like 4 or 5 different cut baits. I've got 4 or 5 squid up, just because I couldn't keep on top of it when I was cutting bait, watching rods. That was one of the things. I'm fishing 2 big baits out into a channel and a little one just down in front of me. Now that shark that I had on there, it's on a cut bait. I hooked a tarpon last night on a cut bait, so I thought I'm going to try that again. I've also heard that there's stingrays, there's groupers, there's all sorts of work around in here. So yeah, all I've got is I've just got, for my snapper rig, it's just a running ledger rig, sliding ledger, just exactly the same as I do for gilted breams, apart from I'm using squid. Just frozen squid that I got from the tackle shop. It is 30 gram conflict inshore rod, and I'm using a Spinfisher live liner because it's got the bait runner function, so it lets drag run off. Just because these fish do hit really hard. Now I am going to try and concentrate on catching a few snapper. I'm really annoyed with myself for losing a shark. I thought to myself, I didn't get a chance to put my chesty on because I wanted to unhook it in the water rather than lift it out and have it racks about on the rocks, because the rocks around here is just coral. I wanted to unhook it in the water so I could have chested it, and in the time it took me to come back and get my chesty, I've obviously give it slack and slip the hook. Yeah, on cue for camera, there is a little mangrove snapper. Now they have got a hell of a chomp, you can hear them going, and they've got some wicked little fangs in there. Yeah, you're wanting to catch them about this big. We'll get him unhooked and we'll get cast back out. But yeah, that's what I'm catching on a lighter rod. Right, in all the commotion, I've turned the camera off instead of turning it on. Hopefully though, I've caught it all on this. We have got a shark. Yep, not losing this one. Ah, this one's got someone else's traces in its mouth. Yeah. You come here and hold the rod.
Just stay there a minute, Tim. We'll bring it over.
Yeah, look, there's somebody else's hooks and traces in its mouth.
Watch that other rod, Jay, for me.
I'm just going to give him a little breath of water.
Yep, you're recording.
Right. I don't entirely know what type of shark this is. I'm not sure if it's a sandbar shark or if it's just a lemon shark or... But yeah, this is the type of shark that I lost like half an hour ago. And you're lucky that I've caught you, because that mark there on the side of his mouth had somebody else's hook in him. Somebody else had either cut it off or lost it. So yeah, I've taken out some old fishing gear from him. Do you want to come here a second, James? Look. You want to feel his back? Like sandpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so hard.
Oh, was it rough?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go and let this one go.
Yeah.
Do you want it?
A manatee. Get a breath back and he'll be gone. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a manatee. You coming or going? There he goes. Perfectly camouflaged in that colour weed, isn't it? We'll leave him there to get his breath back. Get another bait out. Right. I'm glad I landed that one. That was the same type of shark that I had before. Classic fisherman's tail though. The other one was bigger. The other one was a little bit bigger, like maybe about 6 inches longer. But one of the interesting things about that, and this is an answer that I always give to people whenever they question about me fishing for sharks, like when I fish for sharks in the UK. Now this is my trace. This was my hook with a crushed barb and a wire trace. This is the other trace that was in that shark's mouth. Now look how rusted that is. That has been in there for a while, and you can see how long it's been in there. It's managed to chew through the outer coating. Now I don't know whether or not this has been snapped off accidentally or if someone's seen it was a shark and have cut it off. But now that shark, because I've caught it, no longer has any lost fishing gear in its mouth. So yeah, there we go. Some of the old braid from the other line all wrapped up in it. Anyway, I'll get this untangled, get a bait sent back out. What I was using for that was I was using a piece of cut bait grunt. Just like that. Now that one that blitzed me last night, if that's how hard that fought, the one that blitzed me must have been 5 times that size, because I was just no stopping it. It was just going and going and going and it was gone. So yeah, fingers crossed I bump into him tonight, because I'm ready for you. A couple of the things that I've learnt from last night was, the advice that I was given when I when I went to the tackle shop. Now, a contentious subject. Now, I will always say that if whenever you're going to go into a new area, you can take a certain amount of skills with you, but it's a naive person to think that they know everything. So I always like to speak to a local, because they might tell you, oh, the ebb fish is better than the flood, or dusk better than dawn, or whatever the things. Anyway, I followed some advice and I've moved away from it because I was losing fish, and I adapted more back into the ways that I used to fish back in the UK, and I've caught more. Now they were saying, oh, you're like 4-0 to 6-0 circles and like 50-pound fluoro and nothing else. Well, I was losing fish, so what I did was I went down to 2-0 and 3-0 circles, and my hookup rate has increased dramatically, and that's just because I'm catching the smaller fish. Now, I wasn't catching the smaller fish earlier. So right with you. There we go. Now we have to be careful with these mangrove snappers because they do snap. I think I'll leave you with that squid. I don't really fancy putting my fingers in your mouth. What was I saying? Oh, that was it. Yeah. You can catch big fish on a small hook, but you can't catch small fish on a big hook. So the fish that I was getting the bites from that I was losing were smaller fish. Now they were taking my baits anyway, so I figured I might as well catch them. At least I'd rather have a session where I caught 10 little fish and one big one than none of the little fish and just one big one, because you've got more to do in your session. That's just the way I feel. I'd rather be catching fish than no fish. So yeah, I've moved down. Also, they were saying like a 3 foot to 4 foot trace. Well, yeah, I can imagine that would work well when you've got a stronger tide, but the area where I'm fishing here, it didn't seem to be that much tide. So I dropped it down and now I'm fishing like a 2.5 foot trace. Lighter fluoro too, because I found it a little bit too rigid. Yeah, and it's, well, there, the proof's in the pudding, it's working. And another little adaptation is I like my fish locker locked in leads, being like a bolt rig, a little lead locked into an area of about that much. I use them a lot in the UK for my live baiting, for my bream fishing, for all that. I've fished locked in leads up against sliding ledges like this, and the sliding ledges have outfished the locked in leads. Now I don't know what it is, I don't know whether or not they're picking it up, and as soon as they move the lead that far and they feel it, then they're dropping it. But I've been hooking up more fish fishing on the live liner with the running ledger. Just seems to be the way it is. And when I say the live liner, what I mean is it's a bait runner function on here. So you click that back and that allows the fish to run and run and run and run and run, and as soon as you wind the handle, it clicks into place and you've got full drag. So it runs, and then as soon as I wind the handle, it clicks into drag and it hooks itself with a circle hook. That's what I've been doing and that's what's been working. Now the baits that I've been using, cut baits, I've been catching fish, but not as many as squid. And all I've been doing there, now these squid heads are absolutely perfect for this. All I've been doing is just been just like that, and that's been nailing it for me. Yeah, so far this session I've had a blue striped grunt, white grunt. I've had something that's, a guy called it a surf perch, but I know it as a mohara, lane snapper and mangrove snappers, and that shark. So yeah, if you want to do a little bit of species fishing, having a little rig, I've got 2 big rigs out and a little scratching rig, something to keep me busy while I'm waiting for the bigger fish. It's our fish in the UK and I like fishing it here. One of the difficult things is, in my mindset back in the UK, we don't have fish that fight like this or that bite like this. Like, I can be pre-baiting while I'm waiting for bites. Here you can't, because if you miss the bite, your rod's off or it's gone, or you've got to be on it. So I've had to cut all of my bait and it's all in a pile there, so I can be watching the rods, and all I need to do is I can be watching a rod like that, reach over, pick some bait up and bait my hook while I'm still watching it. I'm not bothering cutting or anything like that, because if you miss one of these, they really do hit hard. Anyway, that's enough talking. See if we can't get some fish. Coming in thick and fast, these guys. Try and show you them teeth in there. And a circle right in the corner of his mouth. Perfect. Yeah, every rod's going all at once. Every rod's going all at once. I've just had a family staying at the house over there. I've just come over and chat. If you're watching this video, it was nice speaking to you. They said they were watching me last night and I was thinking, what is he doing out there? Now you know. That was a big bait, but it slipped the hook. Ah well, shows I was in the right place at least. Wow. That is actually not a bad little size one, is it? Lovely looking fish. You can see them little gnashes in there now. Oh, you can hear it when you're trying to unhook it, you can hear it crunching. Yeah, this one here, I might get a measure on that, but that is about as big as I've been catching from this spot. Lovely looking fish. They do scrap really well. I mean, that one there was like what, £1.5 pounds? And they do fight. I mean, a 10 pounder would absolutely paste you. Go on, take it again. Just had a screaming bite on the big rod. It's one of those instances where I don't know if that was a line bite, because it was like a and then nothing, as if like someone swum into the line. Now this isn't a problem that we experience in the UK, but there are a lot of manatees around here. They keep popping up every now and again. I wonder if that was one of them. Rod out of the way. Now that, unless I'm mistaken, is a bonnethead shark. Calm yourself down, lad. Yeah. How crazy is that? There's the piece of bait. Right. This little guy, this little fella here, put up almost no fight at all. He's probably what, 2.5 to 3 pounds, but look at the size of his dorsal fin. How crazy is that? Right, before it starts kicking off anymore, I'm going to go and let him go. You crazy sod. He couldn't wait to be back, could he? Fish that bucket out of there. It's been in there a while, that bucket. Put this in the bin. Right. All I've got there is a 6/0 chino on a length of maybe, what's that, 1.5 foot of wire and a locked in lead. That's it. It's really simple. All I'm wanting is I'm wanting to present a bait tight on the bottom. And it's just my UK shore fishing gear. Whoa. Again, a really strange bite. Could have been a line bite because it was just like a zzz. Saying that, there's that much stuff swimming about here. It could be anything. There's something that keeps swimming past every now and again, and it must be like a nighttime predator because all I can see is its eyes shining back, and it's just like a big orange eye. I think it's like a type of mackerel. If I can catch it, if I can get it on the camera, I'll try and show you. Yeah, just long and thin, like a barracuda almost, but it's not a barracuda. What I've found is there's that many small ones out there. Sorry, I'll get him dealt with them. Look. Oh. That was a proper bite. Come on, come back. I'm gonna have to watch that footage again. I'm not sure if I've just released that fish. Dropped it straight back on top of that other line. But if I didn't, then that was a bite. Yeah, that was another thing that I've adapted from what I was doing last night. Is instead of just putting a single piece of squid on, like bream fishing in the UK, when they just cut lots and lots of little tiny pieces and just thread them on one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. So if they pick one off, the next one drops down, pick one off, the next one drops over. If you put it all on as one piece, they just get hold of it, tear it, pull it all off. So I found that by putting a couple of 3 or 4 just little pieces on, just one hook through and one hook through and one hook through, all they'll do is as they tear one off, the next one drops down, and as they tear one off, so it keeps. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. It might look a bit messy, but there's method to the madness. Right, that's enough. It's time for bed. Got a big day planned tomorrow. I've just come out for an hour to chance my arm. Now, the reason why I haven't fished it in the day is just because there's always too many boats around. When I come out for a walk earlier on, I saw a big fish breaking over the way. You can see where I'm fishing. There's shallow areas at maybe about 100 yards, and I'm fishing into a deep gully. See, it shallows up here. So there's a deep channel there, and that's where I'm fishing. So yeah, using a little tiny bit of bait that was left over from last night. So I can't winkle out a fish this morning before we go on the charter. Perfect. Now this is actually a black tip reef shark, but calm yourself. I don't know if you can see there, he's actually got an extra hook in his mouth. Right, on top of my hook, he also has there's my hook. Ooh, very nearly. Well, I've taken the hook out for him. I took the extra hook out, but he very nearly had my fingers then. Now, smaller sharks are often harder to deal with than the bigger ones just because they've got a smaller turning circle. Now this guy is really going for it. Take him out of the water and let him go. That shark. James, you see it? It's in the water. That's a nurse shark. Yeah.
like that type of size, but
You ready, James?
yeah.
There it goes. Considering the size of that shark and the one previous that I had to that, I had a black tip the other day, maybe twice that size, and the bonnethead I had last night, they're all like 2 to 3 feet long. If that's the majority of the sharks around here, that explains why I've been getting them missed runs, just because the sharks are that small, they're picking up the bait and they just can't get the whole bait in their mouth. Slack line bite. Whatever that was, he's had a good old munch of it. Yeah, fingers crossed I managed to find like their great granddad or something like that. There are bigger sharks around. I got absolutely smoked on the first night out without here. I've only got one bait left, so we'll maybe get a chance to fish this out for another 10 or 15 minutes. I missed the start of that fight. I missed the start of that fight and just managed to, by the time I'd got myself sorted, look at that. I'm gonna have to start bringing a bigger bucket. Yeah, I missed the start of this fight. I was out casting one of the other rods out and it just zipped up. I dropped this bait in close because we'd seen one of these. This isn't the one that we saw, this is slightly smaller. And straight away the rod went. Didn't have time to come back and turn the camera on. But I've got a nurse shark. Now, I've stuck his head in this bucket of water to try and calm him down. They are really strong. Look how broad its head is. Like, considering that it's only like what, that long, it'll weigh, well, it'll be nearly double figures. But it's, the crazy thing about it is like its teeth. It's only got a real little mouth, hasn't it? Like nasal flaps and little barbules, just like a bullhuss. And only really small eyes. I'm amazed. It is just like a bullhuss but with a bigger head. I tell you what, he's solid, he weighs a lump. Ready? Just mention these here. These are kitons. We get them in the UK, apart from they're about a centimetre long. That's incredible. 2 sharks in 2 casts. And yeah, I fished for like 5 hours last night. Well, that's the last of the bait done. Let's go and get packed up.